Hey, what's up everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. The closed qualifiers for the grid just wrapped up, and we got to see what are the remaining 6 teams that will be joining the original 10 teams that were invited into the grid for the winter split for Europe. We've also finally got the brackets for the North America First Regional, so we'll be checking those out as well. But before we get into that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit subscribe, like, notifications, social medias, all that fun stuff. That is most likely displayed somewhere down here, and you can probably see it this time because I'm wearing a black hoodie. But shout out to Mr. Editor as always for all the help. But with that said, let's get straight into the video. So video is going to be in 2 parts. First part is going to be us covering RLCS Season X, the Winter Grid EU Closed Qualifiers. That is a mouthful. Links to these will be in the description as always down below. So if you want to follow along, or if you'd like to see what I'm talking about rather than just the graphics that display, easy way to do so. And I'll do that for both this. And then the second part will be obviously us going over the bracket, a little bit of predictions, pretty quick through those as well. Pretty much high seeds are going to win. That's how it goes. The Big Four, it's kind of a thing in North America. So with that said, let's jump into the closed qualifiers. We had 12 teams that were already invited to this stage. Those teams are Singularity, Solary, Dignitas, Fadeaway, Queso, Train Hard, Esport, Rix.gg, S2V Esports, The Last Resort, FC Barcelona, Minx, and Denied. And then as we saw in our video just the other day, we had 4 teams come from the qualifiers: Redemption, Swag, Woo, and Wolves. The crazy thing about this is obviously it is kind of an open bracket. Anybody has the chance to go through a lot of really tough matches. So we did take a peek at this and had some assumptions on how we were going to do. I think I only missed out on one of mine. Yeah, only one team I thought was going to make it didn't. So 5 out of 6 isn't too bad. We'll take that. We're going to start with the upper bracket and go from groups. So we're going to take, for example, if you guys take a look at the bracket, we've got Team Singularity, Woo, Rix.gg, and Last Resort. We're going to go through that, finish that off, talk about who wins, and then we're going to go to the next group and go through that, talk about who wins, and we're going to just keep plugging our way through, and then we'll do the lower brackets, lower round 1, 2, and 3. So first up, Team Singularity, Woo, Rix.gg, and The Last Resort. Big upset here in round number 1, obviously going to 5 against Singularity. Singularity obviously not wanting this. We knew Woo had some pretty good potential based upon the results in open qualifier stuff, but I didn't think it was going to go this well. They beat out Breezy, Hibbs, and Scrubkilla and forced them to drop 2 lowers immediately, which is a rough spot to be in. Rix, I assumed was going to win. Obviously, the new addition of Magnus, so that's been exciting to watch. And unfortunately, none of these games were streamed except for a couple. We did get to watch some of the later matches due to permission that we got from Team Singularity, but again, we didn't get to watch like any of these. These were not streamed unless the individual teams or players wanted to broadcast them. So kind of stinky on here to not be able to watch a lot of these. But Rix.gg over Woo, I think, was a pretty big upset. I haven't seen much of Rix.gg, so for them to do as well as they are with the commanding and winning through uppers is pretty commendable. Then jump down to the next one, which is Fadeaway, Swag, Team Queso, and Denied. Very stacked bracket here. Obviously, Fadeaway, I called this one on my stream yesterday, saying that they are a very decisive team and a very frustrating team to play against because of their playstyle. Any team with Freaky is a little bit more defensive. But this team is one that you have to fight tooth and nail for every single goal. Similar to like Envy's situation, just not as, I would say, talented on the side of individual players in the mechanic side. But they go up against Swag right away. Swag obviously being Kuxir97 and Rezi. Goes to 5. Swag ends up dropping down early. Pretty sad for a lot of fans there. And then Team Queso versus Denied. Denied does put up a pretty good fight, which many did say would happen. But Team Queso, the former Magnifico roster, now with VK Salem instead of Greasy, does win and goes on to play Fadeaway, which another Game 7, Fadeaway ends up winning in that one. That is a match I wish I could have went and saw. I think those are 2 teams that are both very talented. Both teams that I considered were going to qualify. We then get to Solary, Wolves, S2V Esports, and Barcelona. Wolves was probably one of the most convincing, I think, in this. I look at all the other matches, and this kind of like section is probably the one that I was like most confident in, with Wolves taking the victory here, so no issues on that one. They 3-0 Solary and then 4-2 S2V, who beats Barcelona. Understand that is the new Barcelona. That is no longer Devo, Roniki, and Itachi. That is now Taz, Blurry, and Rizex. So different team, very similar to what happened with Down to Earth, if you heard me talk about that in my last video. So Wolves ends up winning 4-2 over S2V. They qualify in the uppers. And then in the last one, Violent Panda was in my chat yesterday and said, easy 2-0 today, no worries, no big deal. And he says that with us and without him seeing him, and probably one of the harder matches against Redemption. Again, Redemption is kind of like the new version of the Leftovers. with Cash, Mike Boy, and Ocelon. So that is a tougher matchup, and it does show that. It does go all the way to 5. Dignitas, if they won that, I thought they were going to win the whole thing. So to me, the team that was going to qualify through the upper side in this grouping was either Dignitas or Redemption. I don't think anybody else really had a chance. So Dignitas ends up winning it against Redemption. On the lower side, it is Train Hard versus Minx. Train Hard, the German team that's been playing really well, they do win there as well. They continue on that pace. But then they go up against a red hot Dignitas and end up dropping there 4-1. So congrats to Dignitas making it back in after a really rough fall split. It does look like the apparently Jack situation seems to be the right one, and they're only going to get better. So exciting moments for that one. Violent Panda just needs to learn to take a break. The guy's a workaholic. If he would just rest and allow his thumb to get better, he wouldn't have to deal with tendonitis and trying to get like nerve shots or numbing stuff for his thumb. Like, I don't know what he's doing or what he's going on, but man is working too hard and needs to take an extended break so we can figure it out. We then jump down to the lower rounds in round 1, Singularity, Last Resort. We're going to work through those along with Swag and Denied. Singularity 3-0's Last Resort, while Swag goes to another Game 5. And this is something you're going to see as a trend for Swag today. They go to the distance in every single one of their series. This is never decisive. They're going all the way to either Game 5 or Game 7 to close out or to end up losing, whatever the result may be as we get into that. But Swag had a very long day. They dropped down immediately and they have to go through the lowers all the way from the beginning. And they beat Denied, another team that also went to 5 in their previous match. But Swag ends up on top. People are happy about that because we get to continue to see Kuxir and Flakes play. We then see Singularity go up against the German team and Train Hard. Singularity wins that. Swag beats S2V. Another one that goes all the way to the distance in Game 7. Swag wins that. And unfortunately, I can't see for the caching issues that are going on with Liquipedia right now. I can't see like the specific matches. I'll have to figure that out at some point. But Swag, again, another best of 7. And they do this time against Singularity. This was the match that we got to watch on my stream. So if you guys do want to watch some of those matches, you either go to Team Singularity TV and watch them there, or you can go to my stream and we watched Game 2 all the way to the end, I think, of this match as well. Shoutouts to Vel for talking to Internal and allowing us the information to actually rebroadcast this. We had to get permission to rebroadcast those because we don't have the ownership rights. So shoutouts to Team Singularity. They also rated us after. So thumbs up to you guys. Greatly appreciate the support. But they do end up winning. This was a back and forth match. A lot of mistakes, a lot of missed shot opportunities from both sides. It wasn't the cleanest of gameplay. Swag's playstyle does enable them to control possession a lot more of the game, so it did look like they were winning for majority of the game, but it was because of the playstyle difference and Singularity basically enabling them to have that possession, so they get brought out of their own half and then they can counterattack. Singularity was very efficient in the series is the best way I will put it. So Swag would put on a bunch of shots or try to put on shots. There was numerous times where Flakes would just miss touch, or he would have an opportunity to go for like a solo air dribble and just wouldn't. Because fake challenges are God. I don't know. But again, it just shows that that play style, even though I do agree it is the ideal way to play Rocket League, control possession, don't boom the ball, play smart on the ball, you got to be able to mix it up and take advantage of the opportunities that you have. One size fits all will not work in Rocket League. It is about adapting and adjusting to the time. So even though they have the right mentality, and I do agree with that, I don't think it is a one size fits all and you can do it all the time. You have to take those advantages when you can. So Singularity ends up going to multiple overtimes. There was a lot of matches that were super close in that series, but eventually we do go into overtime in Game 7. I'm pretty sure Singularity scored with like 1 second left. Goes into OT. Flix has a wide open net and he misses it top left. A couple minutes later, it is Singularity that goes the other way. Flix is back solo on defense on a big clear. And a 2v1, it goes off back wall and bounces back out. And then it's a shot for a follow-up for a pass. And they put it away. So Singularity holds on. The entire chat on Team Singularity stream was pretty much hashtag Free Smilla. Some pretty big memes going over there. I saw Virtuoso in chat advocating for some of it. So a lot of banter in that stream. So interesting stuff there, but Singularity does clutch it out. Onto the lower half, a little bit more information. Redemption, another team that ended up dropping early to Dignitas. Still a very talented team. Goes all the way. They beat Minx and Wu. On the other side, Solar beats Barcelona and then gets smacked by Queso. Which is what the result was going to be. I had expectations of both Queso and Redemption making it into the grid instead of Rix.GG, I would assume. That was kind of my one upset. So between either of these teams, I'm pretty happy with either one making. But for it to be Redemption, living up to that name, that's some pretty hype stuff for them. The fact that they get to play now in 4 tournaments, $15,000 tournaments, get their name out there, possibly get picked up by an organization, earn some money, is a pretty big deal. So congrats to Redemption. Unfortunate for VK Salin and the guys on Team Queso, but sometimes that's the way that it goes. Now into the second half of the video, there's a lot of people that have been asking about regionals for North America. Why is it over the course of 2 weeks rather than 4 days like the last one. And basically to explain, if you guys have not yet watched the videos, I have videos both out on the winter scheduling for the grid as well as regionals. Go watch those. They'll help you. You can find them if you literally just go to my video tab, and they have the big icon with RLCS winter split stuff on them. They're easy to find. They were done like just over like a week or two ago. So you can go and find those to explain it more in detail. But the beginning of the season, because of trade window and stuff, they smush one of the regionals together. And at the end of the season, they smush another one together to make sure that it wraps up in time. So in between weeks will be over 2 weekends, but the beginning and the end weeks will be over 4 days instead. So for regional events, it'll be, the first one for Europe was 4 days in a row. North America is Saturday, Sunday this weekend, and then next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then Europe will do the same thing. And then the very end one, they'll be smushed together again. So if that doesn't make sense, make sure you guys go check out those videos. They'll help you out with explaining it. But we finally got all of our teams for North America for Regional 1. If you want to take a look at this, all the teams that obviously are invited back: V1, G2, Energy, Peeps, Space Station, Sonics, Envy, Alpine Esports, Rogue, United, Kansas City Pioneers, XSET, Pittsburgh Knights, BOSF, and then we got Down to Earth, Ghost Gaming, Soul, Nefarious, Continuum, Crimson Wings, Sippin' Ice Cubes, Loco, 72PC, and Is I'm Dreaming that are coming from the closed qualifiers. Pittsburgh Knights also coming from the closed qualifiers along with BOSF. And then the rest are coming either through promotional playoffs, tiebreakers, fall ranking placements, or just because they were a part of Season 9. So that is our 24 teams. If we end up going down and then taking a look at the brackets are why I'm talking about this, is now that they're officially out, you can kind of have an assumption of who may win. Majority of the time, you can pretty much give the nod to the higher seed. The big thing to pay attention, if you guys didn't watch my video just the other day, Down to Earth is now the new team. Down to Earth is now the Zookeepers team, while Continuum is the old Down to Earth team. So Continuum versus Version 1 should be a pretty decent match. I do think Version 1 should win this despite being the low seed. XSET and Sippin' Ice Cubes should actually be pretty close as well. Sonics has been looking hot. United looks good. Ghost Gaming with the new addition of Mektos should look pretty good against 72PC. Loco and Soul I'm kind of indifferent about. I think Loco should probably take that. BOSF and Nefarious look good in the qualifiers for the WSOE event, but BOSF should probably take the win there. And then PK versus Is I'm Dreaming. PK should win that one as well. You then look at the high seeds, and I have expectations every high seed wins here. Space Station over V1, Rogue over whoever wins that, G2, Peeps, Energy, Alpine, Envy, and KCP. And then as we get into the quarterfinals, what I assume is going to happen is we are going to get the Big Four winning again. When I look at that winter semifinals, I have nothing but expectations, just like every other event that has happened here so far in RLCSX. You're going to get Space Station, you're going to get G2, you're going to get Energy, and you're going to get Envy. So far from what I've seen, even with some of the new roster changes, and this is why I have not done a power rankings yet, is because I've only seen such a small sample size with a lot of these teams changing one player. It's very difficult for me to give this is the better team when I've only seen it once. It's the same reason why I haven't done it for Europe yet either. So after we kind of get through this week and possibly next week, that's when probably next week, like Tuesday, Wednesday or so, you'll start to see me doing power ranking stuff again, just because it is a little bit more difficult to give that information with like, hey, what's Dig and Toss power rank? I don't know, man. Apparently Jack has played with them for a couple seconds. Like, what do you want from me? So that kind of stuff is going to be a little bit more difficult, but this should provide it. But despite that, the top dogs are still going to stay the top dogs. That's what I expect in the winter semifinals. But we will make sure to break those all down once we get through the weekend. You can expect Monday we'll have a big recap for both the regionals as well as the grid to keep you guys all up to date on all the results. But with that said, that is going to wrap it up for me. Lawler, your inside source here. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about Rocket League or stuff in general, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the video with a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and give it a like, as well as subscribe notifications. Trying to hit 30K, almost at 26,000, so I greatly appreciate the continued support. But that is going to wrap it up for me today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of yours. Catch you next time. Peace.